Welcome back. This is a session on ISLM model, dealing with MCQs on ISLM model, which has appeared in UGC NET previous year, and some of the expected questions are being included. First question: as per ISLM framework, an increase in government expenditure will result in. So we know what an ISLM is. So it's a broader model, and IS stands for investment and saving, and LM stand for liquidity preference of money supply. So under a ISLM framework, when there is an increase in government expenditure, okay, what happens? So it is actually when there is an increase in investment, IS curve will shift to the right. It can be, see, any question related to ISLM curve, just draw the graph. If you draw the graph and you know the changes in ISLM, where the which direction is IS and LM curve moving, it is very easy for you to understand which of the variables are changing accordingly. Okay, here government expenditures are increasing. When government expenditure increases, what happens? Just use the logic rather than just by hearting. Okay, if government expenditure increases, what happens? We have more money in our hand, our consumption increases, that means demand is increasing. And IS is a curve that deals with goods market, right? So IS curve will shift to the right. What happens when IS curve shift to the right and LM curve remain the same? Rate of interest have increased from R to R1, and income has been increased from Y to Y1, right? So the answer will be 1, where there is an increase in both income and interest rate. Right, so every question related to ISLM, just draw the graph. You know the shapes of IS and LM is just like demand and supply. Go for it and see. Then use the logic and you can easily get the answer. Expansionary monetary policy with LM curve shift downward leads to. So there is an expansionary monetary policy. Same way, draw the graph. Okay. So when there is an expansionary monetary policy, that means there is an increase in money supply. Okay, when there is an increase in money supply, we know that investment will come down. Interest rate will fall and investment will go up, right? So what happens to LM curve? They have already said that LM curve will shift downward. So LM curve have shifted downward to LM1. Okay, and you can see that when it is shifting downward, what happens to rate of interest? Rate of interest have reduced from R to R0, and income has increased Y to Y1, creating a multiplier effect on consumption. So the answer will be 3, where there is a reduction in interest rate and increase in investment, leading to increase in income. Okay, next question. An increase in investment will shift. When there is an increase in investment, you know that it is related to IS curve they are talking about. So the IS curve will shift to right. It is somewhat similar to that of the first question that we discussed. So when there is an increase in investment, demand will increase, consumption will increase, and consumption of goods and services will increase, where goods market is related to IS curve, and there will be a upward shift in IS curve. Okay, leading to increase in rate of interest and increase in income. Next question. LM curve is dependent upon. So we know that LM curve is liquidity preference of money supply. Okay, so we need to know which is the answer. Okay, so LM curve is, so answer is money supply or their preference. It is basically liquidity preference of money. Okay, that means liquidity preference of money means how much money people are willing to hold. So as interest rate increases, demand for money decreases. When there is an increase in that is what interest elasticity. Interest elasticity means when there is a change in interest, what happens to the demand for money? So basically LM is related to demand for money or supply for money. It is not related to investment, it's not related to income or saving. Okay, interest elasticity, demand for money is the answer. Which of the policy effect of Keynes range of LM curve? Policy effect on Keynes range of LM curve. We know that LM curve has 3 different parts, where there is Keynesian range, there is classical range, and there is an intermediate range. We need to know what kind of policy will be effective under Keynesian range. Is it monetary policy, fiscal policy, or both of them will? And if we don't know what this range is, basically just go for the logic where Keynes said that government intervention is very much necessary. So the answer automatically will be fiscal policy. Now this is what we are talking about, 3 ranges of LM curve, where you can see that Keynesian range, that is very similar to the concept of liquidity trap, right, where fiscal policies are more effective. And then you can see that from point E to F, that is intermediate range, if a point is closer to E, that means more of government policy or fiscal policy will be effective. A point which is more closer to F, that means more monetary policy will be effective, because it is more closer to classical range. Okay, classical range starts from F, which you can see that is vertical, right? So LM curve is vertical for classical, it is flat for Keynesian because of a liquidity trap, and intermediate range shows that between E and F shows that both fiscal and monetary policy will be effective. If it is closer to Keynesian, point is closer to Keynesian range, then fiscal policy will be more effective. And if a point like F, if it is closer to classical range, then monetary policy will be more effective. Okay, this is what I have explained here. Okay, for LM curve, it's perfectly elastic for classical range. That is why it is flat. That is why it's showing liquidity trap. Classical range of LM curve is perfectly inelastic. That is why it is vertical to the y-axis. Okay, answer will be B. If LM curve is more elastic, that means flat, then fiscal policy will be. So when you know that when LM curve is flat, they are talking about Keynesian range, and under Keynesian range, what kind of policy is effective? Fiscal. Right? So fiscal policy is more effective. The answer is 1. Shift in LM curve takes place because, so you know that LM curve is liquidity preference of money supply. So from the very expansion of LM curve, we know that it is not about consumption, it is not about investment or saving, it is about money supply. So an increase in money supply will lead to shift in LM curve. In ISLM model, supply of money is assumed as. Okay, so we know that supply of money, it is not dependent upon any of the factors under ISLM model. It is exogenously given. It is not dependent on income. It is not dependent on rate of interest. It is exogenously determined from outside the model by some monetary authorities. Now, this is a match the following question where list 1 is given with some of the concepts, and list 2 is given with some of the economics related to this concept. We are expected to match the concept with the correct economist. Where marginal revolution, so even if you don't know the answer, just go for the logic. ISLM curve, we know that it's related to Hicks, right? Samuelson, we have already studied. It is multiplier accelerator concept, right? Even for his trade cycle theory, he believes so. And when we are discussing real business cycle, we said that there are certain economics related to new classical real business cycle, where Barrow was mentioned. If you can go back and look into that part of new classical real business cycle slide, you can see that Barrow is one of the economists. So Barrow is related to real business cycle. Jevons is a marginalist revolution. Next, an increase in money supply will increase the demand for goods and services by. So when there is an increase in money supply, okay, when there is an increase in money supply, it will lead to more increase in demand for goods and services. Okay, so now it is related to monetary policy. So you can easily eliminate the option 1 and 4, right? Because it is related to fiscal policy, it's not a monetary policy. So increasing money supply is a monetary policy, so you can eliminate 1 and 4 as option. So we are end up having interest rate, either it will increase or it will reduce. So when money supply is increasing, rate of interest will come down, because when rate of interest come down, investment, that is people have more money in their hand. When interest rate reduces, they can easily avail loan, so investment increases, production increases, demand increases. That is how demand is increasing for goods and services. That is the link between, that is how Keynes mentioned that demand will increase or it will create inflation. If you could remember and go back to classical and Keynesian model where we have discussed this. Alright, for classicals, increase in money supply will lead to inflation. For Keynesians also, increase in money supply will lead to inflation, but in a different way. For them, for Keynesians, through the action of interest rate, by lowering of interest rate, it will lead to aggregate demand increase and thus inflation. Okay, next question. Liquidity approach is also known as, okay, liquidity approach is also known as Radcliffe approach. What is Radcliffe approach? According to him, Radcliffe approach money supply is cash plus all the bank deposits plus all the near money assets plus even the borrowing facilities available, loan facilities available to the people are considered as money supply according to Radcliffe, which is considered as liquidity approach of Radcliffe. Okay, with that we come to an end of the session. Thank you.